Hey guys, Shanna here. Welcome back to Making Everyday Magic. If you are new here, we are a homeschooling family of 4. This is our 4th year of homeschooling. We have a pre-K and a 3rd grader. I am also a work from home mama. Today, I just want to talk with you about homeschooling and how it's changed. So homeschooling before versus after pandemic. Before we go any further, guys, please scroll down, hit that big red subscribe button, turn on the bell for notifications, and give this video a thumbs up. It has been almost a year. It's been a little over a year since the first known cases of coronavirus entered into New York. This has lasted probably so much longer than anyone could have expected. This time last year, I was freshly back from our trip to Europe, and things were starting to pick up in the news about what was going on. And I can't believe, I just remember thinking, April, midway through March when things started shutting down, surely it'll be normal by April. Surely we can have our normal dance review in June. Surely I will not be canceling my other child's birthday party in June. But we have, and here we are almost a year later. I know that there are many of you who came to homeschool under just the worst of circumstances with COVID, but there are many of you who are thankful for the opportunity that this entire pandemic has given you to realize that homeschooling is definitely your path, that it is the wonderful thing that you didn't know you needed, that you didn't know that your kiddos needed. And so because of that, I just want to take a minute and let you know that if you continue on your path, homeschooling one day will look a little different. Things that were different before the pandemic. 1, we could go on outings with homeschooling. There were meetups and groups, and there's co-ops, and there's families who get together. We have a homeschooling family that we absolutely love, and we've gone to the zoo together, and we've had fun times in the middle of the day. And there's so much available to do, and there's so many classes at museums and hands-on things and special homeschooling events and things that you basically out. Homeschooling involves so much more out in the normal pre-COVID days, and in the post-COVID days, it involves more out. So one of the things that has changed during COVID is that homeschool became a very big in thing. Everyone stays in all the time. It's easier when you can go out and you can go to a playground and do those things. So homeschooling before the pandemic was much better in the sense that you could go out, you could out. Homeschooling changes, pre versus post-COVID, is the access to supplies. I have never, ever in my whole homeschool life seen it where everything that you needed to get was back ordered. I've never seen such a rabid, crazy demand on homeschool supplies, curriculum. I mean, who would have thought that one of the hottest things in the year of 2020 was going to be math integers, like math counters, math manipulatives? Who knew? I did not know. I don't think anybody could have foreseen that. But here we are. So in normal non-pandemic times, access to being able to order curriculum when as you need it is much easier. It's much easier to come by in normal non-COVID times. So an upside of the pandemic, as far as homeschooling goes, is that so many educational companies, like BrainPop, for example, so many museums, so many things that have been kind of almost exclusively in-person things like museums, or specifically for school things, because of the change in education in 2020 as a result of the pandemic. So many of these things have become more available. So there was a free membership to BrainPop for a little while because all the schools were closed. There have been amazing access to the museums of the world that was never available before, but because of this crazy situation, all of these people are reinventing the way that they get their message, their products, and their venues and attractions to the world. So an upside of the pandemic is that we've been able to see some things we never would have seen simply because those places are getting innovative in the way that they share what they have to offer with the world. Something else that has changed as a result of COVID is the attitude, the general acceptance and appreciation of homeschooling. So many more people, one, have accepted homeschooling as a viable education option because of the necessity to do it this year. But also, so many people have such a greater appreciation for us homeschoolers and what we're going through, not to mention teachers. Everyone knows teachers are underpaid. Now they really know teachers are underpaid. But as a result of the pandemic and of COVID, homeschooling is so much more mainstream, so much more accepted, so much more something that people are willing to say, yes, that bucks the tradition, but it's not a bad thing. So just the simple acceptance of homeschooling as a viable education option, it has never been more accepted than it is now. Now, there are a lot of ways that homeschooling is much, much harder because of the pandemic. We can't go out, we can't do things. It's harder to get curriculum pieces. You can't go out and get away from your kiddos and take them to playgrounds. There's not as many offerings as far as group social events, group classes, things like that. But there are a lot of ways that homeschooling this year, especially if you started homeschooling this year, have been easier. One, the bar is very low. You didn't have a very high public school bar to keep up with because public school is in the same boat. This year, everyone is struggling. Everyone is trying to find their footing. So this was a great year to start homeschooling. Something else, because everything is closed, you're kind of forced to stay at home and really get a handle on how your homeschooling life is gonna go. So it's provided a lot of people the opportunity to really get settled in before we do introduce things outside of the house again to mess up that little bit of schedule. Simply the access to things and the acceptance of homeschooling this year has made it so much easier. There are so many changes that I could name from homeschooling pre-COVID days to post-COVID days. But I can tell you that now at the start of 2021, I can tell you that this is truly homeschool's time to shine. So many people have come here, but so many people have come here and found a home here. I truly believe that as the pandemic does wrap up, as things kind of start to go back to a level of normal, there's going to be so many more offerings as far as classes, as far as co-ops. There's going to be a bigger secular homeschool voice. There will be so many wonderful and amazing things that blossom from this choice of necessity because so many more people have found that they absolutely love the homeschool life. Now, that's not the case for everyone, and some people will be happy to go back to public school, but I firmly believe that the public school system will be forever changed based on the struggles we've gone through this entire last year. The fact that so many things can be done in a virtual model is really interesting. So I'm interested to see the changes that come along for homeschool, but also for education as a whole as a result of COVID changes. I hope that you found anything helpful, entertaining, or informative, guys. Please scroll down, hit that big red subscribe button, turn on the bell for notifications, and give this video a thumbs up. Please share with me below, what are some things that you're loving about homeschooling? Even if you're not somebody who did it starting with COVID, if there's something that you just love, or if you're starting with COVID, are you gonna keep it up? Are you gonna go into the 2021-2022 school year? What do you think is gonna change long term? I am so interested to hear your feedback because I think this is just such a huge kind of social shift in the world. I don't think it'll ever be the same.